Everyone, Uncle Crochater here with Zone Rangers once again. As we left off, I think Sonic and Tails had escaped. I know Sonic escaped Scrap Brain City and Tails escaped Hilltop Zone. With a cooling Chaos Emerald in either paw, Sonic glances over his shoulder. The creatures mutated by the emeralds are shrinking and sliding back into their normal forms, and Sonic is sure that they'll be okay in an atmosphere untainted by chaos. He dashes to the teleporter and leaps under it, but there is no bright white light or Phaz noise. Sonic looks desperately across to the other side of the room where his friends are standing. "I get this thing to work," he shouts. "Kick it!" comes the reply. Sonic gives the machine a good boot and Phazam! He appears in midair and tumbles a few centimeters, landing on something soft. "Grrr!" it goes. Sonic picks himself up. "Tails!" he exclaims. "What are you doing here?" "I got here about 5 seconds ago," complains the fox. "I've had an adventure with ice and a robot shark and monkeys and a giant fridge. Am I a real hero yet?" "Not yet," says Sonic. "Unless you can do better than these." He shows him the 2 Chaos Emeralds, then looks around him. "Where are we anyway?" They are in a small room with bright white panels on the walls. In one corner lie 2 gold rings, which they can take. There is a single door, which, as they watch, slides open. Someone steps into the room. It looks like a human being completely covered in silvery metal. Do Sonic and Tails attack it or talk to it?
Talk to it. Talk first, attack second.
Okay.
If they turn out to be assholes,
273.
no. We can fix that. We can rebuild it.
Hello, says Sonic, a little taken aback. "We're Sonic and Tails, freelance heroes." "I know," says the robot. "My name is RO55, or Ross for short. I'm an android, part of the crew of this space station. We've been watching your adventures, and may I say that you've done very well so far. Is there anything I can do for you, or anything you would like to know?" Several questions come pouring into the heroes' minds, but they can only ask one at a time. What do you think should come first? Do you know how to dispose of Chaos Emeralds safely? How do we teleport out of here? If this is a space station, who built it and you?
Was that one question?
No, those are 3 questions.
Okay, say them again then.
Do you know, number 1, do you know how to dispose of Chaos Emeralds safely? Mm-hmm. Number 2, how do we teleport out of here? Mm-hmm. Number 3, if this is a space station, who built it and you?
Second one.
All right, hang on. Okay, so let's see. How do we teleport out of here? Turn 74. No, overshot it. "Hello, Denver Busted." "Sorry," says Ross. "There's no teleport out of here." "But we teleported in," exclaims Tails. "There must be a way out." "There is a way out, but not by teleport," says Ross. "We can give you a spaceship. There's a planetary landing craft in our shuttle bay right now. You can fly back to Mobius in it." "Isn't it difficult to pilot a spacecraft?" asks Tails. "It's just like playing a video game," replies the android. Sonic grins as he realizes he's going to be very, very good at it. The 2 heroes can ask to go to the spacecraft, or they can ask Ross who built him, or if he knows how they can get rid of their Chaos Emerald safely.
Well, which do you think is more important question-wise?
I would say we should go to the spacecraft so we can fight Robotnik as soon as possible.
Okay. Doesn't Robotnik have Chaos Emeralds that we need to destroy and dispose of?
We have, I think, 2 or 3 Chaos Emeralds. We have 2 Chaos Emeralds, maybe 3.
Don't we want to make sure they don't get into his hand?
True. Okay, if he knows how to dispose of Chaos Emeralds safely, turn to 9. "Chaos Emeralds?" Ross asks. "No problem. We'll put them into the warps of confusion." "Do what?" Tails asks, mystifies. "The warps," Sonic explains. They were the special zones around Mobius. You wouldn't remember, we hadn't yet started hanging out together. That's right, says Ross. Robotnik didn't build the warps, but he used them to hide the emeralds from Sonic. Once something is in a warp, it's almost impossible to get out. So how do we put them there, Sonic asks. 2 ways, Ross answers. Either we lend you a spacecraft and you can do it, which is risky because you don't know the way, or we'll do it for you. It's what we're designed for. Sonic and Tails can offer to do it themselves, let Ross do the job, or ask if there's another way out of the space station.
I kind of like plan C there.
Ask another way out?
Yep.
Well, that just goes back to where he told us about the spacecraft that we could take.
Oh. Well,
Let's go to the spacecraft.
huh?
Let's go to the spacecraft.
Yeah, we're gonna have to. Not leaving us with a whole lot of options.
Yeah, 288. Let me make sure I have that right. Yeah, 288. This way, Ross says, and leads them down a passageway, past rooms where the other androids are working, to a large empty chamber. This is the changing room, he says. What's he going to change us into, wonders Tails. Sonic shushes him as Ross speaks into the empty air. Computer, 1 hedgehog-sized spacesuit and 1 fox-sized spacesuit with extra tail room, he says. A concealed door swings open with a concealed hum, and 2 white spacesuits emerge from on hangers, steaming slightly. Put them on, says Ross. You may need them. Things out here are rarely what they seem, and in space no one can hear you shout for help. Sonic and Tails start to slip into the suits, which fit perfectly. And Tails... Oh, I accidentally went back a line. Suddenly there is a knock, as if someone is rapping on the door. Come in, says Ross, but the door does not move. The knocking continues again. I said come in, Ross repeats, raising his voice.
Came with the office.
I'm not coming in, I'm coming out, shouts the little voice. He's gay!
Nothing wrong with that.
A section of metal on Ross's stomach dents, then splits in 2. Half of it falls to the floor, trailing wires. From inside the android's body, a small red leaps onto the floor. Sprints to where Sonic and Tails have left the cameras while they are putting on suits out in the corridor. Should Sonic and Tails give chase immediately or finish putting on their spacesuits?
You gotta finish putting on a suit.
Yeah. Okay, turn to 80.
You don't want to run around naked.
Why not? Sonic and Tails do it all the time.
Yes, but if they go out into the air,
True.
to the non-air or whatever.
Ross crumples to the floor. What was that? He asks faintly. I've never seen it before. Chase after it, please. We were about to, replies Sonic. The 2 animals grab their helmets and dash out. Turn to 135. The corridor is lit by flashing alarm lights. Sonic and Tails almost trip over an android laying against the wall with a hole in its metal skin. There is no sign of the small red robot or the emeralds. Should Sonic and Tails go left, right, or talk to the android?
Talk to the android and at least get your finger on the pulse.
19.
Maybe you'll know what's going on.
The android looks up. Tonic, Sails, I'm a big fan of yours, it says weakly. I was bringing you a cup of tea when a red thing dashed past me carrying some Chaos Emeralds, and then another one jumped out of... Oh dear. It looks sadly at the hole in his chest. Which way did the one with the emeralds go? Sonic demands. To the right, the android points. The other one ran off to the left. Sonic and Tails aren't stupid enough to split up, so which way did they go? Left or right? Well, we gotta find the one with the emeralds. So we'll go right. 272. Sonic and Tails dash down the corridor. It twists and turns through the space station, but from time to time they catch a glimpse of the fleeing red robot's heels that let them know that they're going the right way. Suddenly a voice breaks in. Pardon me for interrupting your jog, it says, but the space station is under attack. You must evacuate immediately. Follow the flashing signs to the escape pods, please. Do Sonic and Tails keep chasing the robot or follow the signs to the escape pods?
Option 1.
All right. Keep chasing. Hi, Kyrie Jenkins. Okay, chase the robot 191.
Leroy.
Psh. Down a short corridor is a vast room. Sonic and Tails step into it. They see a small red spacecraft hurtle through the opening at the other end, diving through a force field and out into space. 3 other spacecraft sit here. One huge and well shielded, one squat and heavy, and one as thin and streamlined as a dart. What are they? Tails asks. I don't know, says Sonic. Computer, tell me about these 3 spaceships. Certainly, Sonic, says a voice. The first vessel is the Kubrick, a long-range spacecraft. The second is the Yuzna, an exploration ship designed for planetary landings. The third is the experimental prototype starfighter Toho, ready for its first test flight. Select a spacecraft for Sonic and Tails, write it down on Sonic's vital statistics, then turn to 250. So basically, should we take the long range, the Explorer, or the Starfighter?
I want the experimental one. The new
You
one.
you want the Toho?
Why not?
Okay.
Let's go floaty.
Toho spacecraft. Turn to 250. A good choice, says the computer, and the spacecraft's cockpit opens. Sonic and Tails scramble in and sit down. Sonic in the pilot seat and Tails beside him. They strap themselves in. The canopy closes and they blast off through the force field and away from the space station. Tails is inspecting the controls. They look very simple. Just a joystick, a speed control, and a single unmarked red button. Can I press the button, he asks. It's the only way we'll find out what it does. Oh, go on, Sonic. You're hawking all the fun. Let me do this. I'll be your best friend. Hey, you are my best friend, says Sonic, trying to concentrate on controlling the ship. Then let me press the button, begs Tails. If Sonic says no, turn to 30. If he says yes, Tails leans forward and press it. Which ship are they in?
You gotta press the button.
Okay, so we're going to 43.
Press the button. Press the button. Press the button. You can't handle the button.
An accented voice filters out of a small speaker on the instrument panel. Lasers not fitted to prototype Toho. So sorry. Turn to section 330, it says. Brother, says Tails. What was that about section numbers? You'll learn, says Sonic. That's one smart computer. Did it say 30 or 330? I hope it was 30 because there were only 300 options in this book. He flips the Toho through a loop and dives towards section 30. Pulling the spacecraft out of a dive, Sonic spots a red speck against the starry sky. It's the small robot ship, quite some distance ahead. Sonic kicks in the ship's afterburners and speeds after it. The smaller ship jinks, zigzags, and dives toward a field of asteroids ahead of it. Far away from its flying, far from the way it's flying, the two animals can tell that it's agile and enough to zip between the floating, spinning rocks. They don't know if theirs is, and there's only one way to find out. Do Sonic and Tails pursue the red ship through the asteroids, fly around the edge hoping to find a target on the other side?
You gotta go pew pew through.
There's no pew-pew.
No. Pew pew.
So through the asteroids?
Yeah.
All right. 211. Sonic sends the spaceship spiraling into the asteroid field. Chunks of rock whiz past on every side, each one big enough to crush the entire Green Hill Zone. Darting ahead of them tantalizingly close is the slim shape of the red ship. Roll on Sonic's agility to beat a 5. If he's flying the Kubrick, subtract 1 from his score. Add 1 if he's flying the Toho. If he misses the roll, the ship scrapes an asteroid and both Sonic and Tails must lose all their rings, or if one of them has no rings, they lose a life. If Sonic succeeds, they make it through the asteroids. Okay, so let's see. We need to beat a 5.
Okay.
Sonic's agility is a 4. So we only need, so anything we roll is going to work.
So we need a 2?
No, we need a 1 or higher.
Oh, okay.
We only need a 5.
I thought we had to beat a 5.
Well, no, because in the tutorial, it's like if you roll that target or higher.
Okay.
So anything we roll is gonna work because it's already a 4.
Good.
2. Okay, so Sonic succeeds. They make it through the asteroids. 267. The last rock zips by outside the cockpit, and the ship is past the asteroids. The red ship is still ahead of them, but its lead has been cut. Sonic and Tails are so close now that they can see the robot in its cockpit, surrounded by the Chaos Emeralds. The small machine looks back over its shoulder, pushes its rocket's engines to full thrust, and dives toward the swirling warps of confusion that lie ahead. "Oh no!" shouts Tails. "It's a robot, so it won't be affected by the warps. We will. Be careful, Sonic." Sonic has 3 choices. He can fly straight through the warps, zip the ship between them, hoping the warps won't confuse them too much, or he can avoid them completely by flying around the outside. I mean, putting the emeralds in the warps is what we wanted, but this guy's not affected, so he can still get them in Robotic.
Yeah. Okay, you have to make this one.
I'm going to say fly between them instead of straight through. Turn to 100. The ship's controls resist as Sonic turns it toward the spinning lights and sounds of the warps of confusion. He's not sure he can steer his way safely through them, but he's not going to find out. Roll against Sonic's coolness to beat a 7. Add 1 to his score if he's flying the Toho. If he fails the roll, turn to 241. If he makes it, the ship hurls out of the whirling madness of the warps. Turn to 299. Okay, Sonic's cool is a 2. We can add 1 because we're in the Toho. So we just need to roll a 4 or higher. 1. We did not make it.
Okay.
241. "Hang on to my arm!" shouts Tails. He yanks the ripcord and fabric pours out of the pack, billowing out to form a rainbow-colored parachute. There is a jolt as it opens, and Sonic loses his grip on his friend's arm. He slips, falls, and grabs, and one of the gloved paw wraps around Tails' shoes. He hangs on with all his strength. They are falling into a sparkling, shimmering cloud. "It's full of rings!" exclaims Tails. "It must be a bonus zone! Grab all the rings you can!" Roll the dice. Whatever the number is, Sonic and Tails catch that many rings and can roll again if they want to, as many times as they like, until they either decide to stop or they roll a 1. If they roll a 1, they lose all their bonus rings and fall through the cloud down towards the green hills on below. "It looks like home." "It'll be good to be back," replies Tails. Turn to 300. Okay, so we can basically grab as many rings as we can as long as we don't roll a 1.
Okay.
4. Gonna give those to Tails. Tails now has 6. 6. Gonna give those to Tails as well, so he has 12. And I'm gonna say we stop there. Turn to 300. The 2 heroes pick themselves up and brush the dust and grass off their gloves and knees. Sonic shields his eyes with his hands and looks around. "It's weird," he says, "but there's no sign of all the construction that was going on when we left. No ugly buildings, no stupid roads, no bulldozers, no robots, no televisions, no Robotnik Broadcasting Company. It's them!" comes a shout from the edge of the woods, and Sonic and Tails' friends rush out to greet them. "So what happened?" Tails asks. "The Robotnik Broadcasting Company went off the air about an hour ago when we all woke up," replies Porker Harris. "At first, we all thought we were somewhere else, but Chirps remembered what had been going on." "So where are the buildings and roads?" Sonic asks. "Well, all the equipment was lying around, and that stuff is even better at taking buildings apart than it is at putting them together," Porker says, a little sheepishly. "Chainsaws, jackhammers, pneumatic drills, you know." "Dynamite, too," adds Johnny Lightfoot. "That was fun." "So everything's back to normal?" Tails asks. His pals all nod. "The bad guys have been defeated, the Chaos Emeralds are safely on their way back to the Warps of Confusion, and our home is safe again. You know what that means, Tails?" asks Sonic. "It means we can watch Mobzilla fights outer space monsters from Planet Z as many times as we like," the fox replies ecstatically. Anyone want to come with us? Everyone bring food. We'll have a party, Sully cries. And they do. You know, Sonic says later that evening after the last of the snacks had been eaten and everyone else had gone home, traveling around the world to save hapless citizens from ruthless tyrants and ultimate evil is all very well, but there's nothing like spending time with your friends. Don't you agree, Tails? The fox replies. He's fast asleep, slumped in front of the television. Sonic looks at him and yawns himself. Adventuring is tiring work. Sonic lies down next to his friend, safe at home at last, and goes to sleep. Scoring your adventure. Sonic and Tails get 100 points for every Chaos Emerald that they managed to recover during their adventure. Add another 100 points for every life they had left. Add 1 point for every ring that they were carrying when they reached section 300. Use the space opposite as a high score chart. And challenge your friends to see if they can do better. Good luck. Okay, so we have all our... So we got 2 Chaos Emeralds. So that's 200 points. We have all 6 lives, so that's 600 points. They've got 49 rings. So we got a score of 849.
Yay!
And the story is over. We finally made it through this book.
Yay!
Yay! So, as far as the next book stream, I'm not sure if the next book stream is going to be Sonic or Fighting Fantasy, but I do want to save the Five Nights at Freddy's ones. Huh?
Stop doing this with the book.
Sorry.
Give people a headache.
I want to give FNAF books a rest until October, so we can do the appropriate time of year when it's Halloweeny. Since FNAF is a horror game.
Fine.
But I do also have some of the original Choose Your Own Adventure books. So we might do those next.
Oh, yeah.
So yeah, that's going to do it for Zone Rangers. As far as Rings and Robots, we are not done. I've got 3 more of these. So there you go. We will see you guys next time. See ya!